you're stuck at home in quarantine. 5 o'clock, why not have a drink with me?
Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Hope everybody's having a beautiful, beautiful sunny spring day today. We got the last of our patio furniture installed this morning by putting in our big umbrella that we got last year for our patio. So the umbrella's out, the patio furniture's out, and there's just something that's so nice and different about having a sunny, warm day where you can be out in shorts and a t-shirt and not be cool. I thought it was going to be cloudy, but it was actually quite a sunny day today, so it was really nice out. Hope you all were able to get outside and enjoy that warmer weather. Looks like we've got Peg Sampson, Tom Kelly, Rachel, and Alice in the chat. Hello to all of you. Hope you're doing well. Funny thing happened to me today, which is, I've been on the Peloton a lot, doing a lot of rides, and lately I noticed that the flywheel on it was just a little bit noisier than it normally is. And so I did some research online, and apparently there's some bearings in the flywheel that seem to match what I was hearing from it. And it's something that can be replaced. And I've had saw a lot of people online that had success getting Peloton to ship the parts and either having service come out and replace it, or even users replacing it themselves. So I went on the online chat with Peloton today in order to set this up, and you upload a video of it and they diagnose what's going on. And I guess that there was a little bit of a backup. So I went on, there wasn't a chat representative immediately available. And so, I'm on the Peloton page and it tells you where in the queue you are. And I was number 12 in the queue, number 8 in the queue, number 4 in the queue. And then as I'm sitting there waiting on the computer, I get another a group text alert from Keith, who just joined the chat. Hello, Keith. And I had known Keith was making mint juleps yesterday with us, and I saw some photo evidence that he and those he were with were consuming a few of these mint juleps over the course of the evening. And so I went to chat with Keith, and I went to write hey, it looks like you were really hitting the juleps hard last night, huh? And then I realized that I accidentally sent that to the Peloton chat person and not to Keith. Whoops. But like I said, I wasn't yet actually engaged with the chat representative. So I didn't know if that went through or when it picks up. So I just wrote oops, wrong chat, smiley face, and then continued to wait. And then I copied and pasted that into the chat with Keith. And so as I'm waiting for the Peloton representative to come on, I'm thinking all right, when they come on, do they see anything that I typed before they're live? Because I just wrote this really weird thing about hitting the juleps hard last night to the Peloton representative. And so he comes on and I feel it's fine. He says hey, who do I have the pleasure of speaking with today? And I type my name and then I say what's going on, and he says upload the video, and he helps me do all of that. And the good news is he confirmed that I was right, that it is the bearings on the wheel, and it's sort of an easy fix and easy replacement. So that's good. And I asked I see a lot of people online have been replacing them themselves. Is this something that I can do if you send it to me? And he said, we have been doing that, but we've actually just starting May 1st, so we just missed this. He said, starting May 1st, we're advising people not to do the repairs on themselves anymore because we're having all these people trying to do it and then messing it up, and then they're not able to have their bike. And he's I can send them to you, but it'll avoid your warranty. So I'm okay, well, is there any harm in continuing to ride it? He's no, it won't do any harm, it's no problem. I haven't noticed any difference in the actual operation of the bike, it's just been a little noisier. And he said it might get a little louder still as you continue to ride on it, but there's no problem. Keep riding, all set. So I said, okay, so what happens next if we want somebody to come out? And this is where he says, out of nowhere, he's well, because of COVID concerns, currently all of our in-home service teams aren't doing visits. Instead, they're at home sipping juleps. and it's going to be a while to come out to come and fix it, but we can get you on the list and stuff. So I was quite impressed with this guy. James White was his name. And he held on to that little nugget without me knowing, and pulled it out at the perfect moment later on when he found an opportunity to squeeze it in. And I said he was hilarious. He said LOL. It was all nice. Anyway, he was great. We're on the queue for whenever they start doing service calls again to come on and rip swap that on the bike. It seems to be like the most common thing that they do. I saw a few things online that basically the service people say that it's like 80% of their visits are just like replacing this one bearing on the flywheel. It takes maybe 20 minutes and you're all set. So I'm not worried about it. Like I said, the bike is working fine in the meantime, but we are on the list. But I thought that was pretty funny. Today, because I have mint and because I was so inspired by swizzling for the mint julep yesterday, we are going to make another classic iced summer drink, the Queen's Park Swizzle. Now, we talked a little bit yesterday in the mint julep making about how ice was this huge moment in cocktail history when in the early 1800s, the Boston entrepreneur figured out how to create the infrastructure to transport ice all around. And so by the 1860s, this infrastructure of ice made its way into the Caribbean. And from there, in the Caribbean, they really just took off with the swizzles, this genre of drink where you have a spirit and some sugar on some ice, definitely some Angostura bitters because they are all over that in Trinidad and the rest of the Caribbean. And then we cool it all down and mix it all up with our swizzle stick. So that is what we are going to be using and making today. And what's fun about this too is that it gets built right in the glass because we're not shaking, we're not stirring, we are swizzling, both to chill and dilute and also to mix the ingredients. So I'm going to take my Demerara syrup here and put in 1/2 ounce. And then I'm also going to, we're going to use a nice clear glass so that you can see the beautiful ice throughout it today. I'm going to take 1/2 ounce of lime juice. And the thing about the Queen's Park Swizzle in particular is that there were a lot of different, variations of the swizzle throughout time. This became the most iconic, and it seems to be they were the first ones to add the lime juice and the mint together in the mix. So that's what makes this unique among swizzles. Let me see if I can get just going right into my jigger to save time and glasses. Whoa, lovely. So I've got my lime juice and my Demerara syrup, and I'm going to take 4 mint leaves and put them down there too. And I planned this knowing that I would have some mint left over from our juleps, so this is a great way to use it. Yeah, this little guy too. Great, and just like yesterday, we're just going to very lightly press. We don't want to pulverize. We don't want to, rip or tear the leaves because we don't want little mint parts all over. We are just expressing the oils of that mint and starting to macerate it a little bit in the simple syrup. Beautiful. Great. So now we're going to add the rum and some bitters. You want to use like a dark molasses rum for this. I'm going to go 50/50 with this Myers rum, which is a dark Jamaican rum, and then this overproof Gosling, which is another black rum. Both of these are really just like molasses forward rums that are going to hold up to everything else that's going on. So you want a total of 2 ounces of rum. I'm just going to do 1 ounce of each of these. Very nice. And I think I mixed up my caps on there, but they seem to work anyway. And I'm going to take a couple dashes of Angostura bitters. Now, I mean, what's interesting is in the this drink really came about in the probably 1890s into the very early 20th century. And what's interesting is that, you know, right now we think about the Caribbean as rum country, right? Like all rum all the time. But back then there actually weren't that many rum distilleries in the Caribbean. All of the rum distilleries were up here in New England, you know, because we were getting all of the, you know, the sugar cane and specifically the molasses from the Caribbean, and we were distilling it and making it up here. So New England was just huge on rum distilleries all over the place before Prohibition hit. And it wasn't until later, really, that that rum really took off. So the early Swizzles probably wouldn't have used rum as much as these ones, but the Queen's Park Swizzle is known for it. I should say, too, the Queen's Park Swizzle is named after the Queen's Park Hotel, which is by Queen's Park in Port of Spain in Trinidad. And so it's a big fancy hotel where all of the, you know, rich Brits go to Trinidad on their vacation, and it was one of the first places in Trinidad to have electricity, which was a big deal. And so anyway, this was it gets its namesake from that hotel. So we're going to take our crushed ice. We'll see if I have enough, but right before I came on, I crushed some ice, and we are going to fill this about 2/3 of the way with our crushed ice. And I'm hoping that I can fit my swizzle stick in this glass. Oh yeah. So you want to put the swizzle about halfway down, not all the way at the bottom. And we're just going to do a nice little swizzle. Alright, see that mint starting to go a little crazy there. More so than we wanted. Get that back down there. Lovely. Now I'm going to top with some more ice, way up to the brim. And you'll see what we start to get is a nice sort of layering. And I'm going to do 3 things to garnish. First is I'm just going to grab some Angostura bitters and drop them right on top of the ice. That'll be nice and pretty. Then I'm going to take some nice mint sprig. Now, something happened yesterday that I omitted, which is if you want to really take your mint garnish game from good to great, there's one additional step that you can do to the mint in order to kind of wake it up and get it ready to go, which is take it in the palm of your hand and give it just one nice spank, like so. That'll wake it up and start to get the oils out. It smells great. Just gonna add in our mint there. So I said we're going to have 3 garnishes. One was the Angostura bitters on top. 2 is this nice mint sprig. The last thing I'm going to do that is traditional for a lot of swizzles is this characteristic swizzle napkin. So when you're drinking this, your hand is going to get real cold. Might get a little wet if you're in like a humid place, like down in the Caribbean. Everything's just going to get wet. And so this napkin is going to help keep things nice and tidy. And so traditional presentation is going to take, I just took the square of the napkin, folded it triangularly. I'm going to fold it over a few times. And wrap it right around. And tie it here in the back. Grab my metal straw. That inside. And here we have the Queen's Park Swizzle. Cheers. Oh, that's so very good. It's sweet, it's spicy from the bitters. You get the mint and that like heavy rum flavor. I would definitely characterize Swizzles in the tiki family. Trader Vic, who is one of the main early tiki men, who came around right after Don Beach. Trader Vic definitely brought the Swizzles back up from the Caribbean and put it on his menus in the early tiki bars in the 30s and the 40s. So the Swizzle is definitely, if not fully tiki adjacent, but I would say fully tiki. And you taste it, 'cause you get the rum, you get the mint, you get the spiciness. It's a nice cold drink. You get all of the ice. This is really nice. Has some good sweetness to it. Oh, I could drink these every day. The Queen's Park Swizzle. All right. Looks like Erin joined. Hello, Erin, in the chat. I hope you're good. So Erin has her boys throwing ice water on each other's heads for some fun. Owen in the front yard just wearing his bathing suit, like it's bathing suit weather. Love that. And I think, I can't judge too much from the video, but my guess is that Quinn had as much fun dumping the water on his brother's head as Owen did filming the video and getting the water dumped on. But that was hilarious. Loved seeing that on Facebook. See, the glass is getting nice and frosty, which is what you want. And also why we have this napkin garnish, if you will. All right, well, hope everybody's had a good weekend and continues to have a good weekend. The weekend isn't over until you go to work on Monday morning. I firmly believe that. So any sense of Sunday night, convince yourself it's still the weekend. Monday will come. I don't need to bring the week before it gets here. And hope everybody enjoys the rest of their evening.
It's 5 o'clock. Why not have a drink with me?
So good. Cheers, everyone.